Welcome back, everyone, to another Merge Conflict. Before we get into this action-packed, Apple-filled podcast, let's take a quick break to thank our amazing sponsor this week, Sync Fusion. Yes, that's right, Sync Fusion, the same company you know and love that we've been talking to you about for about 17 billion years, because they make amazing components for every single application on the planet. Charts, graphs, Kanban boards, whatever you want, effects, little things that light up your application that make it look beautiful. Sync Fusion has it. No matter if you're developing web apps, desktop apps, mobile apps, cross-platform apps with any framework, any language, they have you covered. I use them personally in all of my applications, and I know you will simply love them. Head to syncfusion.com/merge conflict to learn more about all of the amazing controls and productivity tools that they'll give you, including like Excel, Word processing, PDF processing, and so much more. Syncfusion.com/merge conflict to learn more. And thanks to SyncFusion for sponsoring this week's pod. All right, Frank, listen, before we get into the Apple event, I got to do a quick shout out.
Oh, okay. I love shout outs. Follow up or shout out? Who's the shout out to?
This is a shout out to the entire .NET team because .NET 8 RC1 is out, baby.
Oh, I missed that announcement. Darn it. Okay. Well, that's good. That means we're out of preview 30 or whatever. I got tired of the previews after a while. So for previews, I do .NET 9. Haha. But that's great. Excited for 8RC. I still got to play around with some of the native AOT stuff on the Macintosh.
Yeah, there was a whole bunch of new things, I think, for iOS even announced too. But head over to the .NET blog to learn more about that. I know the new version of Visual Studio will be out by the time this podcast's out. That's how I'm getting and acquiring my versions of .NET. I'm actually on RC2 already because, again, like Frank, we like to live precariously through downloading random installers on the internet, get those hot bits. But anyways, it's out. It's got a go live license, which is very exciting, which means that pretty much it's supported in the box, out of the box, whatever it is. But I'm basically retargeting everything to .NET 8. I'm super excited about it. I'll be doing some live streams upcoming on my YouTube, youtube.com/James Montemagno. And I'm sure Frank will be playing around with it on his Twitch, twitch.tv/Frank Kruger. All right, Frank, let's get into it. I talked about it on our Patreon exclusive podcast, which you can find at patreon.com/emergeconflict.fm or in the show notes where if you want exclusive bonus content. I listened to a bunch of podcasts, Frank, and all they do for the first 5 minutes of their podcast is shout out about the bonus stuff, blah, blah, blah. And we don't do that enough. We hardly ever. So anyways, if you want to support the show, patreon.com/emergeconflict.fm. Frank gets half of that. Did you know that Frank gets half of that money? I haven't paid him in 3 years, but he gets half of that money. It's accruing.
Yeah, I assume if I hired a lawyer or someone to go bust your knees, I could get some money, but it's cool, man. I theoretical money is just as good as real money.
It may pay for one Apple Watch Ultra, two,
don't say
perhaps. I'm just saying. Anyways, you can find exclusive content over there. Let's get into it by first going by favorite feature of the entire, of anything in the entire 128-minute breakdown. I have two favorite features. One, I cried in the very beginning. That's my favorite feature. Apple tearjerkers. Second favorite feature, you're not going to believe this, Frank. Plugging an external hard drive into your iPhone as you record a video that is saved onto the external drive. I'll never use this feature, but it is the coolest freaking thing that I ever thought about, and it's out there, and they did a great video. It's kind of cheesy, actually, but they did a great video explaining the entire feature. That is my number one feature, I think, that I saw them demo of the entire iPhone Apple Watch event. What about you?
Interesting. We should talk about that more, but I want to say mine before I forget. You know how there's like there's a feature I like, but I'm a little embarrassed about, and then there's a feature I hate because I got a little bit Sherlocked on this one. And so I have a nemesis feature. But you know how because it's a nemesis, you kind of like it too? Because I'm being Sherlocked, that it's obviously something I'm into. So which one should I say? I'm going to go with USB-C. I'm going to stick with boring, everyone. USB-C is here for the iPhone. It's actually kind of exciting because it sounds like they're actually putting a real USB controller in there. There was always like, kind of iPhone could read a few devices. It could act like a host. It could act like a little I forget what the other one's called, peripheral or something like that.
Mm.
But now with the USB-C, I guess Europe is making them put a USB-C in there, and they're throwing in other good hardware to go with it. So I'm actually going to say the USB-C in the iPhone. Now, is it enough to make me buy a new iPhone? We'll save that for the end.
Well, no, I think it's a great point too, because Heather and I were recently on holiday and we had this conundrum, which was like we had Android phones for a remote. We like use it for data with the eSIMs, just because we kind of like to separate iMessage and stuff. It kind of iMessage gets funky with eSIMs and trying to get it working on eSIMs. It works
Mm-hmm.
fine, but you just kind of have to know what to do. So we just like a separate phone for data, and then we'll just keep our iMessage all aligned on Wi-Fi. But what we had is we each had our iPhone, we each had an Android phone, but then also Heather had her iPad, which was USB C. But then we had like our iPhones, which are Lightning, and then we had our Android
Yeah.
phones that were USB C. I'm like, what a weird. And then we also had our Apple Watches, which are also
Yeah.
just like normal USB, and like we just had Dongle City. I'm like, this is such a weird conundrum, even between Apple devices and Google devices. Like, I am ready for the great convergence, Frank. It's happening.
Yeah. And I'm sure it won't last forever, but I bet you we'll have like a good 5, maybe 10 years of everyone just having USB C everywhere. My car has USB C, so please let's not have USB D. We don't need it. We don't need it, USB people. Um, I'm excited because it's just a better connector, obviously.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, the dongle city is terrible. I did learn one cool thing. Your little watch charger can also charge your AirPods. It just snaps on,
What?
and yeah,
Oh,
so you only have to carry one charger for those. I do recommend getting
that's
a
cool.
USB-C one though. They charge faster. They have like quick charger ones, and you can
Oh,
quick
that's very
charge.
cool.
Well, I'm sorry,
Huh.
probably not your watch. But other people's watches could probably quick charge.
Well, one thing also, I don't know how this feature Sherlocked you, by the way, but I will say that Apple actually did officially Sherlock me 100%, by the way, which was they
Oh,
announced previously that like the iPad could like connect to different, or iOS 17 could connect to
right,
different Bluetooth devices. Now the watch can, the Apple Watch Series 9, it can connect to cadence sensors. And when you
right.
connect to a cadence sensor and start a workout, it will automatically display on your iPhone or your iPad automatically, which is exactly what my application does. And I know it's going to be a nice popover or dynamic island. It's
Yeah.
going to be beautiful. I'm very excited, which to me, I was telling Heather, I said, this is not the first time, but it is basically the time that I think we should buy new watches. Now we have a Series 3, which we didn't get that long ago, maybe 3 years ago or so. So it's not that old, but it was like when they were still selling the Series 3, but the 6 had come out or 5 had come out. They're like, you
Right.
should probably buy the new one. I think fall detection was just announced. And I was like, I don't know if it warrants the
Yeah.
price. We got these for like $100, and they've gone for 3.5 years. And that's been really good. However, now I feel like I am missing some of the important features from that video. The video that they started the entire thing out with, which I think you paid less attention with, to. I cried twice today. Heather
Oh
cried
my
once.
gosh.
Were stories. They're deep. Apple knows how to connect with people. And at the end of the video, which was real life stories about how Apple devices save people's lives, which, there's plenty of devices that saves people's lives, but they just know how to tell a story. And I'm a sucker for a story, and it's an emotional bond for me. And I was like, I need to go buy every single new Apple device ever right now because it's going to save my life. No, not because of that, but also because on my Apple Watch, there's a big, here's the real story. There's a huge gaping hole in my Apple Watch because I literally took a fall on my bicycle, which I probably told on this
Right.
podcast before, and I busted open my chin. And there was no fall detection. There was no contact in emergency. There's no anything because the Series 3. Series 9, I think finally, I'm like, I think I can go in for the whatever, $400, and I should just buy it basically
Yeah.
and just get everything, the heart rate stuff. I'm getting older. I'm not getting any younger, Frank. I'm not getting any younger. I just go all in and just buy it.
Series 9, baby. Well, I think you should go Series 9 just to get that iPhone detector radar thing because you
Yeah.
need like the new chip so you can actually it's like find my phone, but closer. It can be farther away, and it actually works. I
Hmm.
don't. The trick with all that kind of stuff is let's take fall detection. Let's actually talk about it. The iPhone does it also, and so it's tricky. Like, do you exercise with your phone or with your watch or things like that? Um, I always have my phone on me, so I can pretty much rely on that for if anything really terrible happens to me. I'm kind of clumsy. I fall over all the time anyway. So um, we'll see. Like, I'm a little like, I'd be afraid of it on the watch, even though I think my watch might have it. But like, it pops up the emergency thing, and you have to dismiss it pretty quickly, or else it will call emergency services. I've butt dialed the police a few times with my phone,
Oops.
and I always felt terrible about it. But yeah, I would say it's definitely a good upgrade from the 3. I was always shocked that you got the 3 at the time that you got the 3. And so I would say it's gonna be a big upgrade for you, but are you willing to spend more than $100 for a watch?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's fine in
Okay.
general that I want I want when I bought the 3, it wasn't the most modern, it wasn't the best and the latest, which meant that I was buying it at a reduced price to see, do I even want an Apple Watch? I never had an Apple Watch. I don't
Right,
even wear a watch. I don't even neither of
right.
us wear a watch. Well, should we even wear a watch? Will it be useful? And it was a good trial experiment to say, oh, I actually do like this device. I like tracking the
Mhm.
workouts. I think that this gets me motivated. Now it's 3 years later. It's like, oh, okay, let me invest in something that will last me hopefully 4 to 5 years.
Yeah. Okay. I think it will. The 9? For sure. I mean, mine
And
mine is a 6, and it's already lasted almost that.
almost 3 years. Yeah. So you're good. So, like, that's the question. It's like, will you get the 10 or the 11 or whatever it is that'll be there? Now, the cool part is this also has the double tap, double click,
Double tap, double tap.
double tap,
With the
double
new
tap.
neural engine, 4 cores of neural engine to double tap. They're going to check your heart rate, your blood flow, your position, your the moon phase, and then you're going to double tap. I'm a little worried. I've written watch apps, and they're like, it does what the main button in the app does. I'm like, how do you designate what the main button in an app is? I'm just like, I guess the apps I always write are too complicated or have too many buttons, but I never have a single button app. But if you have a single button app, you gotta look to make sure you're supporting double tap.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it.
My thought on the Series 9 is if the series whatever is working for you, it's totally fine.
Hmm.
And that this is just a new version. If you want to get in, you can get the latest one, you get the older one. To me, it's there's nothing in the Series 9 that's like, I want to get it because of this. I think it's because, oh, there's now 6 years in between mine and the other one that there's
Sure.
enough of features that are in the box now that I'm like, oh, this makes sense for us to get. I do like the cadence sensor built in. I think that's cool, but like it's still just a watch. It looks like my watch is probably a little bit bigger than
Yeah.
my watch. But I was talking to Fritz earlier on our one-on-one, and I said we were talking about this watch, and I said I think that I will use this watch exactly how I use the current watch, which is
Yes.
three things. Three things, Frank. One, what time is it?
Yes.
Two,
Good.
start a workout. Three, what time does the sun set tonight? Because I got that watch face that gives you the
Yeah.
the twilight daylight thing, and you can use the crown. That's my favorite watch face. But my watch face is generic. If you're watching it on the YouTubes, it's just the fitness one. It's like that's all I care about. That's all I care about on my watch. I don't use
Hmm.
any app, maybe a timer on occasion to make coffee. But everything else, it doesn't matter. I just want to use it as a watch and a workout device, and hopefully it
Oh,
saves my life.
but if you get the new one, we could be walkie-talkie buddies. We could walkie-talkie each other.
I can walkie talkie
Walkie-talkie
you right now.
works. Can you? I mean, it works 1% of the time, but that's one of the features I'm always a little sad about. Yeah, it's tricky. Like, I don't see a big upgrade path for me from the 6 because they are mostly incremental improvements. I have most of the nice fancy fun features and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But for you, 100% go for it. Now that Ultra 2, I think you should get the Ultra 2 though, James. I'm just saying. I actually really love the Ultra. It's a little bit big, but
A
if
little.
you're gonna splurge and you have giant arms, get that Ultra.
Yeah, okay. Well, here's my final thing here. On the watch, yeah, I agree that like it's not a momentous upgrade. And I think the same for you is like totally fine. I've seen people with the Ultra. It's a very big watch. I am not out in the wilderness with in hiking crazy mountains overnight. Like that's not anything that I want to do ever in my life.
Hmm.
Um, if you are a person, then I think the Ultra is great. I don't really know what the
Yeah,
difference between the Ultra and the Ultra 2 is. Did they really say? I guess it's like better.
it's better. Yeah, honestly, I'm trying to review in my head because without like reading off the material from Apple here, I'm sure the screen got brighter. They were talking a lot about nits, from
Nits.
1 nit to 8 billion nits.
So many nits.
Um, but gosh darn it if I don't remember one other feature change in it.
They, they spent very little time on the Ultra 2 and very little time on the SE, which also got upgraded as
Well,
well. So,
you just reminded me. I totally forgot you were asking what's my favorite part of the whole show. Let me tell you what my favorite part of the whole show is. It's when they talked about Mac and they're like, "Remember Mac? We have a
remember
laptop
Mac? Remember
and we
that
have a
thing?
computer. Go get them. They're good." Anyway, moving on. I love the Mac section. It was hilarious. Why did they
They
even do
did.
it? They don't even normally. I don't do. I have to review past September things. Why mention it? But they did also remind us that the Vision Pro also exists and developers should be working on it because developers are getting into labs that I can't get into. Other developers. Um,
Yeah.
but I thought that was funny, just mentioning like they must have spent more time on the Ultra 2 than on Mac, but the Mac part was hilarious just because like remember Mac?
I do remember that. Like, well, Tim was like, before we get to the new stuff, let me remind you that we make another device. It's called a personal computer, and you can get it and you can put it in your laptop. And people
It
have said it's great. It's the
I
best
just
15-inch laptop ever. It's the best.
it it may not save your life, but it may make you cry during the Mother Nature video. I hope you didn't cry during the Mother Nature video.
I appreciate everything Apple's doing and big tech companies are doing in the carbon neutral, carbon negative movements and doing for our environment. Our environment's crap, and we're it's all bad stuff, right? And I think it's actually Heather and I were talking about tonight. It's actually great that these devices are lasting longer than ever before, right? Because it's like all this
Mhm.
e-waste and all this other stuff. Now Apple has great recycling programs, which you do, but nothing can be 100% recycled, and most plastic is not recycled anyways. Not that devices are made of plastic, but you know what I mean. But I thought that the skit, I think Miguel loved it. Miguel Ding, on Twitter
Ding.
at least. I don't know, maybe he's being facetious, but I was like, nah, I could do with less of this. I don't know. I could do with less of this skit. Y'all having fun, but I thought the stuff that they were saying was great. Like Apple's doing all this great stuff. Maybe that's the only way to connect to people. But I was like, I could do with about 10 minutes less of this. Just saying.
Yeah. I thought it was okay. At 2x, it was okay. It was tolerable. But there were long, awkward silences even at 2x, so I had to imagine what those were like at 1x.
Yeah.
Um, Apple's a big company doing manufacturing. Like a lot of their suppliers, like they only mention their suppliers in one part. Like, yay, Apple, you have a fancy office building and it's technically carbon neutral because you planted some trees. Great. But like your suppliers are building these things, assembly is taking time. So they say really big numbers. I honestly don't know whether to be impressed or not. They certainly seem impressed with themselves, and comparing themselves to other people in the industry, they seem impressed with themselves. But I can't judge. Uh, I just the numbers don't mean anything. Even when like Mother Nature said 83 million, and they're like, no, 83 billion or whatever the number was.
Mm.
I'm like, well, doesn't mean anything to me. I don't know if it's a million or a billion. So I think if Apple does want to keep complimenting themselves, they have to make it a little more clear what any of these numbers mean and
What
compare themselves. Like, say, what does a chip cost in trees?
Well, if you're interested, you can download the 114-page environmental progress report from Apple,
Cool.
which is on the apple.com /
I take it
hold
back,
on.
James. I will watch a
environment.
skit anytime instead of reading a 100-page PDF environmental report.
114.
Please do all comedy skits. Thank you, Apple. I didn't mean to
Uh-huh.
critique that at all.
Yeah. Yes, one thing, the shout out that I think was really good is that to me, the standout, at least that I took, was that they're shipping less things by planes. So that's really good. It's better for the environment. And they're also no longer using leather, which is also good too. They're using non-leathery things. I don't need cow on the back of my phone. I don't need leather. You don't
Mm-hmm.
need leather. It's fine. So that's good. So
It's
those are the two things
interesting.
that stood out.
Yeah. The container ship has to be crazy math though, because container ships are huge polluters.
Yeah.
So that's some kind of aggregate math they're doing there. Anyway,
Yeah.
good for you,
Math.
Apple.
Well, that's why you can't even pre-order an iPhone at the time that we're recording. By the time this is out, you can, but
Yeah,
they're like, oh, you can't even pre-order it yet because it's on a boat.
it's on
Because
a
the thing
boat.
with boats, they take a long time. If you get it on a plane, it's much more expensive, by the way, to get on a
See,
plane.
what I wish
And
they
then
would do, they should announce like a blimp or something. Like a blimp would be efficient and it would be
hydrogen
faster.
blimp.
Yeah. No, it
Yeah, there
doesn't
you
have
go.
to be hydrogen. Could be though.
What is the Goodyear blimp made out of? Is it hydrogen? I guess it's a hydrogen
I don't want to
blimp.
talk out of turn, but I mean, all the good blimps and zeppelins were hydrogen. Why wouldn't they be hydrogen? You need
They
something lighter than
explode.
air.
That's
No, they don't explode if you light them on fire. Don't do
I guess.
that.
What do you put in balloons? Hydrogen, right?
Well, helium, if you want like a little
Helium.
helium balloon.
Helium.
But helium is extraordinarily expensive, and that's why we don't make helium blimps. Usually. I don't know. I'm not all up to date on my blimp business. But they're vaguely safe. Just don't use flammable paint. Don't light a cigarette around them. I don't know.
Yeah, let's not do that. All right, iPhone 15. Let's get
iPhone
into it. Whoa, whoa, whoa,
15.
whoa. Which one are you buying?
Oh, I'm not buying any of them, but if I were to buy one, I would get the titanium because, of course, I want titanium. Where do you think the titanium comes from? We're talking about sourcing today, James. Sourcing. Titanium comes from like Russia. Where else can you buy titanium?
I'm sure it comes from other places in the ground and from space too. I mean, because you put it in space, it's got to come from space as well. No?
It's not quite how all that works, but sure. Earth has plenty of stuff. It just all fell to the bottom of it, and we can't get to it. Anyway, the Titanium Pro looks gorgeous. Hey, this is a fun opportunity to tell you about a mistake I made while programming. I
Okay.
was designing an app, and I was doing all my testing on an iPad Pro, and the app was running great, James. And then I'm like, you know what? Before I send this out to beta testers, I should make sure it's working okay on my phone. And I put it on my phone, and it's running at half the speed of what it was
Nailed
running
it.
at on the iPad Pro. I'm like, oh, I totally forgot how fast iPad Pros are. It's like a little laptop chip in there. And like the iPhone is fast, but it turns out it's not quite as fast as the iPad Pro. And one of the parts that was actually slow was the neural engine. And so I appreciated what they announced for the new iPhone is that the neural engine is 25% faster. And that's a pretty big deal. 25% is a lot of percents. It's still not the 50% that I lost going from the iPad Pro to the iPhone, but hey, I'm going to take that 25%, and that'll be good for all the consumers who get it because everyone's just putting everything into a neural network anyway these days. You're going to want that neural engine.
I agree 100%. Yes, I think that the iPhone 15. So it's really interesting. They have iPhone 15, iPhone 15 Plus, which is the bigger one, then iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max.
Yeah,
Now, pretty much for all intents and purposes, the iPhone 15 and 15 Plus still only have two cameras, but they get a lot of features from the iPhone 14 Pro, like the dynamic island, like some, increased 48 megapixel main camera. They get more focal point. They get 2x
crazy.
telephoto, all sorts of good stuff, right?
I hate talking about the camera, but we have to talk about that one real quick. 48 megapixels, ridiculous. I remember when Nokia did it years ago. Um,
Hmm.
they did announce one interesting thing. Like they're definitely splitting the color and the luminance sensors, and the luminance is only going to be measured at 1/4 that scale, and then they're going to be using the color sensor to enhance the photo. So they're doing fun, tricky photo computational photography stuff with it. But they also announced that they're somehow going to fit that into a small file size because if you do the math, 48 megapixels costs a lot of megabytes, and I'm excited to see what they're going to do with their HEEC or HEIF format to store these files. I'm sure it's going to be interesting.
They did specifically say that too. They're like, oh, just so you know, like these files will be shareable with your friends and family. We swear. And you're like, oh, grr, Apple. Um, this gets the A16 Bionic chip, which is also great. Obviously, it gets the 2x optical zoom. It does get the emergency SOS via satellite, the crash detection. One of the major features that they announced for all the new phones is the roadside assistance via satellite, which I actually thought was
Mhm.
very cool. So if you're out and about, and you have AAA or you sign up for a package, they will automatically just disperse a roadside assistance to you when you're out in the middle of nowhere, and that's actually pretty great if you're doing cross country um, drives. But additionally, if you're live in the Pacific Northwest, like me and Frank, we often cross through the Cascades, and through the Cascades there is zero reception. Now, that being said, one thing I will say is that the USB-C that is available on the iPhone 15 and the 15 Plus only supports USB 2, not USB 3. Okay. So
It's okay. Who plugs in their phone for data anymore?
that's true. Yeah,
Ever?
that's true.
It's a power
Yeah.
plug.
It's a power plug. That's true. Well, yeah, that's true.
Okay, so
That's
we
true.
we transfer it when we upload apps. So I mean, we could probably benefit from some USB 3 action over there, but USB 2 seems fast enough for transferring apps and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes a random file.
But for all intents and purposes, like, there's some features that it doesn't have. Like it has Wi-Fi 6, not 6E. It doesn't have thread networking built in. If we're just talking
No?
about Wi-Fi
Okay.
crazy devices, it doesn't have I guess it has most other things. It's got most of the things, right? It's got most of the
Mhm.
things in there in general. I will say that I think that the glass looks really nice. It's like a color infused glass that they did. So that to me reminds me of like a really high end, like Nordic design, glass company or something like that, or like blown
Okay.
glass where it's like infused with color. So it looks cool. It looks like a really nice
Yeah.
device. But honestly,
Yeah.
why would you buy it for $799 with for $200 more? You can get the Pro. You might as well get the Pro.
I mean, $200 here. If the fewer lenses, honestly, I don't need three lenses on my stupid phone. As much as I love the
I
depth,
what?
depth and all that.
No, you need the 3X or
I don't.
5X. And
I
additionally,
don't.
you need an action button, Frank. You need an action button. It's a button that's an
Programmable.
action. It's programmable action button. You
So they
need it.
finally admitted that hardware buttons are good, but we lost our hardware button, so we got a new hardware button on the side. And it can do one thing and one thing only. Actually, as developers, we should look into that because I am curious if any app
Mm,
can register to receive notifications from that button. That'd be
that'd be
good.
cool.
I'd
Yeah.
like to set my apps up as button apps. Can I tell you about the feature I feel like I got Sherlocked on, even though I technically didn't?
Okay.
Um, so I didn't get Sherlocked because I have yet to release the app that I've been working hard on that does the feature that they're doing. Did you catch their mention of spatial video with the new iPhone?
No, I did not.
No, he did not. Oh, so iPhones for a while now, with their 8 billion cameras and their depth things and all that, are able to take depth maps along with
Hmm.
the image that they're taking, the color image that they're taking. And they do that for like portrait effects and changing where the focal point is and things like that. Fun features, fun features. Well, they're going to start doing that with video.
Oh, cool.
And that'll be fun because in Vision OS, you can then render that video in 3D and the person will feel
Mm.
like you're right there in the photograph. Well, I've been working on the exact same app, except mine doesn't rely on the data coming from the camera itself. It uses a neural network to figure out the depth data just from the
Mm.
image itself. So it's a little less reliable, but it works for any video or any image. And I didn't have the clever idea of calling it spatial video.
Spatial video. I like that. Yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't catch that one in general. I think that I'll have to go back and watch that. I think the things that I was more drawn into, obviously, was the USB-C stuff. But additionally, like they're really into the tiny titanium build, right? It's all there in the A17 Pro. Ray tracing. I don't know if you heard about ray tracing, Frank. It's a feature, and they have it now on the iPhone 15. Now, the thing that I believe is the most important feature of the iPhone 15 Pro, which is only available on the Pro Max, is the 5x optical zoom option, which means I will not be buying an iPhone 15 because the Pro Max is too big of a device. I don't want that in my life. And as we know, Frank, Heather gets a new phone every 3 years, and I get her 3-year-old device. So, which means that by the time she upgrades, my phone is 6 years old. So that's like a good thing. But I'm assuming next year with the iPhone 16, the non-max version will get the 5x, and then the Pro Max will get a 7x or whatever optical zoom option in general. I was like, when's my iPhone going to replace my, Canon, with my lens on it that I have? Where's my lens?
I still don't know exactly where they're fitting all these lenses because, like,
A
okay,
7.
2x, fine. 3x, maybe 5x. Where's all the glass going? There's
It's in there.
glass involved to make all that work. They got some nice glass manufacturing over there at Apple, so good on
Yeah.
them. Yeah, I can't carry a Max around or a Plus. I don't want the Plus or a Max. I want the Mini back. Bring
Mini.
back tiny phone.
Ooh, whatever happened to the iPhone Mini? It's like it was here one day and gone the next. That's a
I
great
think maybe
device.
just every 5 years we'll get a small phone when
Mm,
Tim Apple is feeling generous.
yeah. Um. Anyway, I mean, I think the Pro is a good. There's some features, Pro features. You got some stuff. It's fast. It's made of titanium. It's titanium, Frank. It's in outer space. Outer space.
Well, the one thing
Titanium.
that they mentioned with the
NASA.
titanium that I felt was a little interesting was that they said repair was more easy, less difficult. How do you phrase
Less
that?
glass. Less glass.
Yeah, well, they also said something about the layout too. So I'm curious. I really can't wait to see some iFixit teardowns and things like that of it.
Yeah.
I'd like to see how if the titanium one differs from the other 15s, or if it's 15 versus like 14. I'd like to see that.
Yeah. That'd be nice to know how that teardown actually works in general. I mean, it does make some sense because I always feel like glass is scary to take apart just in general. So if there's no glass, then that could be better for the teardown in general. How would you rate this event, Frank?
I'll give it a B plus. It's a standard Apple event. They had their drone shots. Everything was an incremental upgrade. Mac was no upgrade. Reminded us Vision exists, and then it was incremental upgrades. I would say. I mean, the phone's looking good. The phone's in good shape. I did immediately text my friend because I was a little bit late to the show. I forgot it was happening at 10 a.m. And I was like, "Oh, please tell me that there's a second screen on the iPhone or a solar panel recharger on the back." And
No.
we didn't get either of those. So, it's just another incremental year. One of these days, the iPhone will improve.
I was when I was talking to first, I said I think that phones in general are kind of like an every 3 year device. Hopefully, watches are every 4 to 5 years, and that's okay. We talked about it earlier in
Hmm.
the pod. I think that's okay.
Yeah.
There are some people that will buy it every single year, no matter what. They just want the latest and greatest, and
It
that's
used to
totally
be
fine
one.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then it used to be like, oh, every other year, right? Because you have the S year and the non-S year, and you were either on the S or the non-S. And then after that, now I think Apple's kind of expecting every 3 year. And I listen to a lot of the MSNBC people like, oh, well, it doesn't. The people don't upgrade and this and that. It's like you have mass. You have mass. When you have mass, it's like it doesn't matter if only 50% of the people are upgrading compared to like before. If 80% were, but it's the same number, it's still the same dollar amount at the end of the day. And then the other thing is you have more watches, you have more services. I just got the email from Apple that the Apple TV Plus is going up. But guess what? I'm gonna keep it because I'm watching. I just finished Silo. Have you watched Silo?
No, I think you told me to watch it also. I totally forgot. I'll have to put that one
Oh,
on.
so good. And I missed out and people are like, Silo's so 2 months ago, 3 days ago. Anyways, I just started watching based off a book. I don't read books. Books are stupid, but also great. I'm a supporter of books. I'm not against books. I just don't read books. I mean, I guess I
Just
read
not
a few
stupid
books.
ones.
Yeah, just not the stupid ones. Silo, great show. I'm also watching Invasion, which is an alien
Hmm.
invasion
Okay.
story. It's more about story of non-aliens. I'm into it because I'm like committed. Like the first few episodes like really pulled me in. Now I'm just committed. I got to watch the rest of it. Anyways, Silo, super good. And then there's After Party, which you've never watched.
Ouch.
After Party. That's a great show. Anyways, Apple's like, hey,
You're
we're
doing
raising
what
the rates.
you're doing what Tim Cook did. You just slip in these little Apple TV announcements and ads. Like I think they announced like morning show or something was
They
coming out
did.
like during the event, but they just slip them in. They're like they're not going to do a
Uh,
section on the Apple TV. I think it's
just a
just
little
funny.
slip and slide. It was great. But besides that, I want to remind everyone iOS 17, watchOS 10 dropping the 18th, which is the day this podcast comes out. So you can upgrade that. And if you have an Apple laptop, I don't know if you know Apple makes laptops and desktops. I don't know if you've heard of that. They run a operating system called Mac OS, and Sonoma will be
Macintosh
available
OS.
on
Ah,
Macintosh. It's named after the Apple Macintosh Apple. And Sonoma, which is not named after apples, will be available on September 26th. So you got a little bit longer to wait on Sonoma. I think I'm still 2 OSs back. I feel like I don't update my Mac OS device because I don't know. I
well,
just don't trust it.
I've been running the betas and they've both been fine, Mac
Mm.
and iOS. So I think everything's in pretty decent shape. I'm not too worried.
Okay. Live your life. Frank, live your life. All right, that's gonna do it for this week's podcast. You can check us out on the internet. I guess I should also tell you my rating. A minus. I thought that the tearjerker opening, fantastic. What a great video.
Okay.
I thought the cinematography, the drone footage, they literally shot, I don't know how they did it. They literally shot a segment on like a San Diego pier. Like they're like, oh, we're just on
Yeah.
this pier and like we're just gonna shoot this video and like people are like fishing in the background. I was like, well, how do you even do this? Is everybody an actor? I don't understand. Brilliant. And then they also like filmed a segment like in Alcatraz or something or like some island thing. What was that? I don't know, but it was amazing. And I was like, dang it, Apple, why are you so good at making Kino? It's like upsetting. It's like it physically upsets me that they're so good at all this shenanigans. I'm like, stop it. Stop being so good. It makes me upset. It hurts my soul that you're so good at these stupid marketing videos. And then I went back and I rewatched like the WWDC keynote. I was like, dang it, stop being so good at this crap. You spent your budget. No wonder the iPhone costs so much and the Apple Ultra is like $799. You spent so much on this freaking video. Anyway, it's super good. They really have it nailed down. However, that being said, the drone footage, you can only use that for so many years, Apple. Tim
Yeah.
Apple, if you're listening, I think you're at your limit. Like this year was peak. It was peak drone. They literally they flew a drone through a window in Alcatraz into the Alcatraz building. Peak drone. Peak drone. Peak drone.
I'm already over drones, so I think peak was last year. B,
Yeah.
we haven't seen anything yet. Like from now on, all Hollywood is going to be drone shots. There's not going to be one steady cam at all. The dolly is gone. It's all drones whipping around doing circles.
From Apple's keynote today, My understanding is that everything in Hollywood is just going to be shot on an iPhone 15 Pro Max.
Yeah.
That's they because it's pro raw footage that they can take from USB, and they're like, oh, just edited it really quick, right? Boom. Yeah.
Aces. They do aces now. It's okay. It's wonderful.
Yeah.
It's math. They're very happy with their math.
All right. You can check us out on the internet, twitter.com slash James Montemagno slash program slash merge conflict FM. You can find Frank on Twitch at twitch.tv/ Frank Kruger. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/ James Montemagno. You can find the podcast. If you're listening to us, you could have enjoyed viewing our beautiful faces at youtube.com/ at Merge Conflict FM. It's in the show notes. Check it out. You can subscribe on all of your favorite podcast apps and on YouTube. And you can leave comments, you can rate, you can subscribe, you can share it with a friend. You can also become a Patreon supporter at patreon.com/ Merge Conflict FM. Or if you want any of these things, go to mergeconflict.fm. That is a domain name that we pay $100 a year for. Frank, $100 a year. Thanks to our Patreon supporters, we can get exclusive bonus content. That's going to do it for this week's Merge Conflict. So until next time, I'm James Montemagno.
And I'm Frank Kruger. Thanks for watching and listening.
Peace.